Is NIO setting up for up to 30,000 cars on European roads? Unfortunately, it was a rather red week for NIO investors, but let's look forward and into the future, and let's have a little bit of a speculative video towards the end of the week. By the way, I really enjoy that there are so many new subscribers to this channel, and if you're not one of them yet, then this is the time to hit the subscribe button and become one of us. And then, as always, let me get straight to the point, which is this tweet here by Jamie Wald, Citizen, by the way, great NIO account. Sometimes sharing quite interesting stuff. This is one of them, like a Pressemitteilung, so a press release in German. It's part of the newsroom, but it's nowhere to be found. I didn't find it in the German app. I didn't find it on a German website. I might be wrong. If you find it somewhere, let me know. But this is actually a press release in German, and it does announce that NIO Germany has signed 50 locations for NIO swap stations. Now, I do know you guys are watching what's happening with NIO in its global expansion, especially in Europe and also in Germany. And sometimes I get the question like, what's going on and why is it so slow? And I do reply what is kind of the official note here by Li Bin. He said, don't expect more than 10,000 NIO cars on the roads in Europe. Now, you also may have seen this tweet by Afonso about the NIO Power Swap Station new milestone to be reached soon. It's quite cryptic. We don't really know what is meant with it. Is this referring to 50 plus battery swap station? That's possible, but it may well also just refer to some of these new announcements here, like new swap stations like here in Ulm to be opened. Now, why did I say in the beginning that this could technically pave the way to up to 30,000 NIO cars in Europe? Well, let's first discuss why NIO is going so slow. Now, first of all, I have to be honest with you. In the first year that NIO announced that they're going to enter Europe, I actually calculated with around 4,000 cars, and that was way too much. So my personal expectations have been too high. I thought they sent over a normal ship like Tesla would do, and a whole batch that would be up to 4,000 cars. But that seems to, wasn't really the case. And I think the message that I'm getting, like going deeper and also how NIO is communicating, it seems really that they first want to get the whole ecosystem over there, because NIO really isn't NIO without NIO houses, without swap stations, without the whole service offerings. And of course, they are kind of in the initial phases, right? And especially in Germany, they are facing huge issues when it comes not only to finding places where they can build NIO houses. For example, Munich is quite difficult to find a good real estate location, but also for the swap stations in particular, I'm hearing about lots of bureaucracy nightmares, and that's, of course, typical for Germany, right? So it seems to me that NIO really had kind of the foot on the brake a little bit until possibly they managed to strike a deal similar to what they are now announcing here. 50 stations. I mean, currently we are at around 7, I think. Now, that would be a pretty good deal if that would be an announcement of actually having the swap stations in a short time frame. And why I'm saying 60 swap stations in Germany could pave the way to around 30,000 cars is actually, if I'm looking into my business case here, some business assumptions that I had and actually tracking some historical data here. That's for China, 2020, 2021 and 2022. You see the cars per swap station. So the cars that have been delivered by NIO divided by the swap stations available, and you can see that the average is spending between 470, 400 and 600 until they started to build out swap stations again. So if we're roughly calculating between 400 and 500 swap stations per car, and we're gonna get like 60 swap stations, that would bring us between 25,000 cars or 30,000 cars that could actually be supported with those 60 swap stations. I mean, this always, of course, depends a little bit on the use cases, and that might differ from China, where it's more like, in those dense cities like Shanghai or so on. But in Germany, it's rather, if you look at the map now, it's connecting the bigger cities. It's really in between on the German Autobahn. If you want to drive fast and, don't care whether or not you're using a lot of battery power right now, that's what you can do with a NIO car in Germany. And so we might see a little bit of a different build out there, but theoretically, and as I said, this is just a speculative video, if we get a number around 60 swap stations confirmed, that would indicate to me that this would support a fleet of up to 30,000 cars, and that would be quite a thing, right? I think we are quite some time away from that, to be honest. But yeah, maybe a sign of what's to come, and maybe NIO getting more confident then about the prospects of Germany and Europe, or just kind of the upfront invest of NIO doing a huge bet here and saying, look guys, we're going to build the infrastructure and we're going to see who's coming or not. So it's either an indication for strong demand and being very confident, or to say like, okay, we're going to do the invest and we do this bet, and if it's failing, then we've got lots of sunk cost. But maybe it's like in China that the more swap stations we are building, the more sales we get. Let me know in the comments what's your view on that. I hope you enjoyed this speculative video by the end of the week, and then thanks for watching and your support, and see you in my next video.